I'm feeling today. Welcome to Thursday, potential, maybe, are we lucky, midweek reversal day. Let's see how we go. Let me know how you're feeling in the chat. Good to see so many of you jumping on so early. YouTube has changed the way they do things on the back end for me. I used to be able to see how many people were waiting for the stream, and now it's gone. So I have no idea who is going to be turning up until we're live now. So welcome to Bullish on Smash Avocado, Donna, Diego, TRC, Abdul, what's up? Wayne's World, morning, are we seeing a Batman? What time frame? Michael, Jason, Brad, Carrie, Brendan, good to see so many of you here. Okay. Today, we're going to talk about what is happening with Bitcoin's price action, Ethereum as well. We're going to talk about a few other things, why we don't seem to have any chill lately, following on from yesterday. And let's have a look at what may happen today. So, sorry guys. Number one, I want to have an overall look at everything that's going on. As we've been speaking about all week, Dixie is definitely one to keep an eye on. And so let's start there because, first of all, just let me know if you can hear me okay. But the reason we need to keep an eye on this, well, we know why we need to keep an eye on it, but yesterday we had marked out this vector zone right here, which had one attempt previously, and price was up here somewhere when we talked about it. We have done a full recovery of that candle now. So now our next goal is coming into this one right here. And if price continues to trickle down, then the 800 EMA will start to meet it as well and potentially come into that vector zone. So that's going to be a very key area for us if that were to happen. However, what am I doing? However, if it's a fast move, that won't happen. So we kind of want to see Dixie just trickle down into this zone, meet up with the 800, and that's where we may get some sort of a bounce if we are to experience a midweek reversal today, tomorrow, anytime potentially soon. What I do like about it is that, following on from yesterday, we had the two hits to the low yesterday, and we were waiting for a third, which we got. So what I do like about the third is that the vector candle is magenta at level 3, whereas the other two we can see were red. That means the volume in the speed to the downside is slowing down. So, sorry, as long as it stays that way, we may just trickle off, consolidate in this zone, potentially create a boardroom, something like that, and then we may get that bounce out. But that's the thing to watch now, because if we break through this zone and we break through the 800 EMA, then there's, more upside for everything else. So definitely in a very key critical zone right now. This is the 4-hour time frame, just in case you didn't see that. And then when we have a look at everything else, so let's have a look at Nasdaq. Actually, let's have a look at S&P first, because S&P is also in its entered into this candle vector zone right here. We've crossed the 200 EMA, which is good. We're above the 10 and 20, which is good. Everything's good. We are seeing wicks turn from the bottoms to the tops of candles. That's one thing. However, the wicks aren't a worry until price moves away from them, because when we create wicks, we're just kind of testing what's up in that area. So when we then have a follow through with full-bodied candles, then that tells us that, no reversal just yet. So we need to watch the follow through after this particular candle right here over the next, couple of 4-hour candles. And then if we do end up making it to the top of that again, that's where we're looking for potential rejection. If we break through, the next is the 800 EMA. If we break through, then we're going up to this one here, and things are going to feel a little bit, well, not a little bit, they're going to feel very overextended if all of that happens without a pullback first. But it is possible that we are in crazy times leading up to a potential reversal to come. However, what we know that's important is that we've got the most three important parts of the method are the levels, the pattern, the timing. So we have to time this. So if we are moving up now and we don't get our pullback and things start to feel a little bit overextended and a little bit makes no sense why we just keep going up and up and up, then we have to look to the timing, the second element of it, and what is going to cause it to reverse, which I have a little bit of an idea about that, which I will get to. So just know that it is possible timing wise, because we're in Asia time zone. About to open Asia session. So we still have all of UK and all of US today where things could potentially go a little bit haywire before we get any kind of reversal. Now, let's look at the Nasdaq. So Nasdaq looks a little bit different to sort of similar, but a little bit different to S&P in that the difference between the Nasdaq and the S&P is that it hasn't started eating into this vector zone at all, and it's been struggling around the 200 EMA. So if we are to continue with this upside, we need to start coming into this area of interest, get above and hold above the 200 EMA, because we've attempted it twice and we've closed back down below. However, we're still above the 50. So as long as we're above the 50, that's bullish. But the next step is to get it and hold above the 200 and then start coming into this zone. If we get a full recovery of this zone, then again, we're going for the 800 EMA, which also lines up with this vector up here. So again, we would be talking people feeling crazy bullish. If something like that was to happen, we would see social media have already turned crazy bullish. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but they're absolutely crazy bullish right now. But that's really going to play on egos and have them believe, yeah, let's go all in, bear market is over. And we know that when that thought process comes in, that is the most dangerous time, because that's when we see reversals. So now let's hone in on Bitcoin. So with Bitcoin, yesterday we had this daily closed on yesterday's video. We needed to see the follow through. This one had broken the 50 EMA, which was a good sign. And now the daily candle that just closed has given us that follow through, which is one good sign. However, it is a blue, meaning the volume is not as strong as the previous day's candle. That's fine. But ideally, this move is not proven still without a retest. So at some point in time, doesn't really matter where it goes to, but wherever it decides to go and run out of steam, if this is going to be a sustainable new uptrend for, I don't know how long, like a fairly decent period of time, because this is a higher time frame, then we need the retest to prove that. Without a retest, we are at risk of, let me show you, we are at risk of exactly this happening again, right? So this move here is right exactly as everyone was calling bullish breakouts as well. And look, we ended up just coming back for 100% reset. And we're literally in the same position right now where we don't have the retest to prove this move just yet. So, if we come back to retest any of these EMAs and do create a higher low, that's when we can talk about uptrend, but we can't really talk about it right now. Now, the other thing is I can get rid of this one. We are right in the area of interest that we marked out from yesterday. This was marked on a 4-hour time frame. So if we break through that, then we got to come through and start eating this into this candle right here, which we really like. We're well under the 50% line still. So it could be a case that we push up a little bit more to around the 50% line of it. Then we come back for our retrace, and then we reassess the situation from there. But what I want to point out more so is on the 12-hour time frame, excuse me, because on the 12-hour time frame, we can see that the 50% line of that daily candle, which sits at 21,300, the 50% line at this point in time lines up with the 12-hour 200 EMA. And we're very close to, being around that 200 EMA right now. The EMA's currently at 21,200. So literally anywhere from here could be where we start to fold over, according to these higher timeframes, that may potentially lead to our retest, or this was just a little bullish breakout and we're still absolutely very bearish. Because when you zoom out, you can see here rejection of the 200 EMA, rejection of the 200 EMA, and at this point in time, rejection of the 200 EMA. So and for a new trend, we have to get above the 200 EMA on the 12-hour time frame. Otherwise, we can't really be calling it right now. And we may come back for a retest before we actually make that attempt to do it. Now, the other thing too was, actually, let's have a look at the 4-hour. 4-hour, yeah, so yesterday we were talking about this vector candle here needing to be recovered, and we can see that right now we've had that. And that means that we then look for the next one, which is this one up here. And when we mark that out, you can see this is where we're struggling at this point in time. However, it's the dead gap zone right now. So, you know, we need to wait and see what happens when Asia actually does open. But that's where we're at right now. When we start looking at lower time frames, it's very much screaming that it's looking ready to retest. But retest doesn't mean, you know, that we're dropping all the way back to 19,000 or below. It may still be bullish, depending on what time or what session time we potentially get that retest, which again, I'll get to in a second. Let's have a look at the 1 hour. 1 second. So 1 hour, we can see here, again, wicks from the bottom turn to the top side. And so that's just something to keep aware of right now. We can definitely see 1, 2, 3 hits to the high here. Very obvious. Potential to start looking for M formations if you get the right signal based on the 1 hour. What I don't like though is there's no market maker here. However, if you have been around for a while, you'll know that I talked about the US. When the US consolidates, it's setting up for Asia to make a move. By the way, if you are brand new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Be sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hitting that like button nice and early does really help me get these videos around the internet and able to share them with more people. So costs you nothing to just smash the like button, would massively appreciate it. So on that note, we have talked before about when when US goes into consolidation for most of its session, it's setting up to handball to Asia to make the move. Sorry. So that's what we need to watch for today. By the way, if you're new here, no, I do not smoke. It's some form of asthma or hay fever or something, and I can't control it, but I'm working on it. But yes, anyway, so US consolidates. It's setting up for Asia to make the move. Which way is Asia going to make the move? That is yet to be seen. However, this now brings me to what I wanted to talk about, which is the Dixie and why it's moving down. So we know that the Dixie is it's the US dollar's strength against a number of other currencies, which the most weight is the euro, right? Now, the euro we know is currently pumping because they have a new prime minister, etc., etc. I think everybody knows this narrative. So the thing here is when we have a look at these, so these are the major ones. We've got the euro up here on the top right-hand side. We've got British pound here, and then we've got Japanese yen here. When we have a look at these, you can see that with the euro and the British pound, we do have nice W formations, and both of them at this point in time are entering into their 4-hour vector candle zones, where if they were going to pull back from this uptrend here, it would be in this zone. It would be at some point in this zone that it would make sense to do that. If this was to be a healthy change in trend. Otherwise, it's potential just to be a pump before a dump. But if we are going to get a nice pullback, higher low, then continuation to the upside, this would be the level that we would want to see that, right? Now, I don't trade Forex, but this is what I wanted to point out. It's very important to keep an eye on what is going on right now, because this is why, crypto and the markets are moving. Now, the other thing that I wanted to say about that is it doesn't matter what you trade. If you know how to read a chart, which every single person on this video watching right now would, because that's why you're here, because you're technical analysis, how do you say it? But you're that, right? You're that. So, technical analysts, right? Then here what we can see as a clear difference that I really want to point out is that even though this here looks like a nice W formation, a nice trend to the upside, due for a pullback for continuation, nice W here, nice trend to the upside, due for a pullback before continuation, then you come and have a look at Japanese yen, and you've got hectic wicks everywhere into this zone. You have a V-shaped recovery. You have basically no retest. And what that tells me is that this is super aggressive right now. And in comparison to the others, it's not all that sustainable. So when I think about that, and I think about the fact that it's currently in a vector zone as well, where it is here. However, this may not be the one. Like, we may keep going up to even potentially this one up here. So what I'm about to tell you is what to watch for as far as movement, not necessarily levels. To me, it feels like this is too aggressive compared to everything else. And what that may mean when I think about what I mentioned earlier, that the US sets up for Asia if they consolidate, Asia might make the move today. Meaning Asia's normal session is to just set the initial high and the low of the day. We don't normally see more than a 2% range. We don't normally see a trend. But just because of this aggressiveness, I'm going to be very, very skeptical that Asia may run a trend today. And that may be a trend to the downside. Or, it may break through yesterday's high and be a trend to the upside. It's too early to tell because Asia has just started, but I will give you some things to watch out for. But I want you to keep an eye on that, number one. Number two is the other reason why we may see a trend through Asia today, if not UK, but I kind of feel like it may be Asia over UK, but who cares which one it is because of news events that are coming up today. Now, later on today, it's 11:15 p.m. Melbourne time, which is going to be, if I'm correct, it's towards end of UK. I don't think it's into US yet, right? So what we have here is we have the Euro main refinancing rate and the monetary policy statement. Now, normally I wouldn't care too much about that, as even though it's a red folder news event, I normally don't find that Euro is a market mover, or Euro news events are a market mover. However, just because of our current situation, the fact that they have a new prime minister, the fact that, that alone is what caused this move here and this move here, I have a feeling that, I don't have a feeling. I say that this time is worth paying attention to. Now, if it ends up being a no big deal and nothing happens, great. But imagine you weren't on the ball and something big does happen. The fact that we're due for midweek reversal, the fact that, they have a new prime minister, the fact that we've seen this uptrend, that they don't have a pullback to prove the move yet, all of this kind of ties in that maybe, just maybe, this time, these ones are worth paying attention to. So that's what I would keep an eye out on today. And what that means, though, is that if you're trading Asia or UK, usually, unfortunately, UK session runs a trend, but when there's a news event that is end of UK session, UK usually is very, very still and boring and consolidates. And so that's why I feel like I think someone wrote UK GBP. Yes, I'm aware of that, but all of this affects everything. So what's I going to say? When we have these news events here in that time zone, the UK session tends to get very, very boring, which adds to the fact that we may have a session behavior shift, and it may be Asia. Again, all of this is speculation. We just have to wait and see what happens. But at the end of the day, Bitcoin is looking topped out to me. And for me, I am really looking for reversals in this area at some point. On the 15-minute time frame, you're safe if you're in a long position, you're safe whilst your EMAs are while price is above the 10 and 20 EMA. What you can see right now as Asia's opening is price is just closing below them. So the next step would be if it closes below the 50 EMA and it goes to extend the dead gap zone low right here of 20,700. So that's what I'd be watching out for personally. And even still, it would be healthy. Now, if we do get that pullback, where do we have to go? Initially, we have to, where did you go? Initially, we have to come back to test the high of the day, yesterday's high of the day, which is going to sit at around 20,400. And that's going to be the rest of this candle right here. So 20,004 to 20,003 if we were to come down there. And then we may come down to test even further, depending on how dramatic a sell-off it is. This area here would be another good area because it would be a retest of last week's high of the week, and that is at around 19, let's just say 20k, 19.8 to 20k. Both of those would be kind of good. Now, the other thing too that you just have to be aware of, which if this were to happen, I don't think I'm not going to say that because I would do it another way. This is what I'd be waiting for if we're going to get our pullback. Now, Ethereum, I won't waste too much time on because it's literally exactly the same scenario, that we're just crossing below that 10 and 20 EMA right now. Again, candle's just halfway through, so they may get back above. If they get back above, I wouldn't be opening shorts. If it breaks below the 50 EMA, that's step one, great. The initial low of the day is step two, and then, coming back for potentially, let's go. We've got this zone here, but we also do have this here that needs to be recovered, which will be recovered if we break the initial low of the day anyway. So we're having a look at those, and then we're coming back down into this zone here if it's a dramatic breakdown. Now, finally, I just want to talk about very small time frames, 5-minute time frame. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. I'll just zoom into Bitcoin. Now, the one thing to watch on the very small time frame, so I'm on the 5-minute now, is the VWAP, because the VWAP has really, it's a beast of an indicator, to be honest with you. But for me, I learned that you only ever use the VWAP on very small time frames. And the VWAP resets every single day at the new daily candle open. So you can see here, this straight line up, that's the reset. So if you're trading using a VWAP, you don't want to be in a trade during that reset. But after that, it's game on. Now, yesterday was a great day to scalp because from the Asia Open, we pretty much stayed above the VWAP the entire day. However, when I actually used the VWAP with the 255 EMA, which is this one here that you can see, and when they're both in a nice trend moving up to the right, that's a very, very easy way to take along. However, what you then want to look for is, again, where it starts to top out on the 5-minute time frame and you start to see wicks to the upside. Here we've got wicks to the upside. When you look at that in reverse here, to get a breakout for a long, you've got the same, right? So usually a trend will finish with a move away from the VWAP and some wicks, and then it goes sideways for a period of time, however long. At that sideways movement is when you do nothing, right? So if your 255 is flat and your VWAP is flat, you do nothing. but you're watching for who you think is being induced to take silly positions. We can see here wicks to the upside was inducing long traders. Then we had this stop hunt, which took them out, the 100x traders. Then we have the break to the upside. And it's literally rinse and repeat in the other direction. So if we were to believe that Bitcoin were going to come down today, we can see here that we had this final move away from the VWAP, right? Finish with wicks, great, wonderful. We've got that part sorted. Now we're going into the sideways consolidation, which the US started for us. So it's a no move while price is where it is right now. If you are going to look for short positions, you're in the watching phase right now until price gets back below the VWAP. The good thing about this, and the reason why I wanted to point it out on today's video when I never really talk about this trading strategy on YouTube, is the fact that if it happens, these two are probably going to cross because they're very close together. And that's when you're going to make your move. So you want to see price come below the VWAP and the VWAP meet up with the 255 EMA, and then it's game on from there. So that is pretty much all I really have. I just got wrecked on APT short. Oh, sorry to hear that. But you should never be wrecked if you have good risk management. Now, what else is there? Any other questions here? I can see people asking about how to check the Discord. So if you just go to the description of any of my videos, the link is the first link in the description of those videos. Do you have any videos on how to set up a trading view chart like yours? I don't, but what part of mine are you wanting to set up? And another late night. Well, you know what? It's not too late. The last 2 nights, the news events for Aussies has been 1 a.m. At least we get a 2 hour earlier start today, and hopefully something will happen. Finally, let's look at this, because yesterday when we tapped into that 21 zone, there was 3K short orders up here, which is what got picked up and caused that wick out of there. They didn't all get picked up on that week, and we were sitting here at the 21K. We were sitting at around 2K orders for a fair few candles. Even into this morning, it was sitting there, and now that's been reduced to 1.5. So, I mean, that could be that people have reduced their orders because they've marketed in short already. We don't know that part, but it just goes to show that that 21K was a very, very significant level, and it was the highest amount of short orders that we had anywhere else. We can see up here in what is this called? The order book right here. When you see that red spike right out there, it still really is the highest level that people want to short. What you want to watch for now is the filled orders here. You can see here that the high number of orders are very, very green. We want to see them start to turn to red if we're to believe a pullback is coming. And we also want to see these long orders below price reduce, because right now we've got 1.6K at 20,500, which makes sense. It's a round number. You know, people always go for round numbers. But we want to break through that, because really, ideally, we want to come back down into like below 20K in my opinion, for a nice retest. But at this point in time, can't do that if we're still battling this 20,500 zone. So 20,500, let's have a look at where that would be on Bitcoin. Oh, there we go. Isn't it amazing how everything just matches up? So 20,500 is going to be coming into this candle zone right here. And then was there anything below that? We've got here at 20,300, 20,000. Yeah, so it's this entire zone right here is where at this point in time people want a long. So yeah, ideally M formation, potential break the 50 is what we've got to do next, and break the initial low of the day, extend that initial low of the day, and then hope, and then that will give us more hope that we're going to come down at least short term into 20.3 to 20.5. If we can break below that, then we're looking at a nice, decent retrace where we can reassess and see, you know, is Is this the start of a new uptrend, or is it all over and it was just another 200 EMA rejection? That is all. Do you think this is only a short squeeze before election to make people happy, then crash, steal everyone's money? Makes sense. Oh, 100%. Like 100%. There's so much happening next week that could be a market killer. That yes, for sure, this could be an up week before next week has the potential to be a down week. This move at this point in time doesn't make sense to be running so crazy, other than the fact that this is running so crazy. But we're in very key levels right now. So these are the levels. If we're going to get a pullback or a full-blown reversal, these are the levels that it's going to happen for now. Okay, I am going to leave you guys there. I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to hit that like button. Smash subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And if you're looking for somewhere to trade on, OKX is my preferred exchange. I believe, where are we in the competition, guys? Are we number 4 or 5? So I think I saw someone wrote it in the comments. We are making our way up to win this competition. Too late to enter if you're not already in it. However, if you're looking for somewhere to trade on, OKX is an amazing exchange. They offer a lot. And with the link in the description of this video, you can get 15% discount off your trading fees for life. She has a funny accent and she's kind of milfy. Okay. It's called Australian. But anyway, and you also get sign-up bonuses. So I'm going to leave you guys there. Enjoy the rest of your day. This is my last update for the week. However, if you're in our Discord, we do have many other session opens with our other trainers. And we have the amazing Alicia who does Asia Friday Open. So if you're not in our Discord, get yourself in there. And I will see you guys next week.